There's a moment when you realize you've been living someone else's life. When you understand that every yes you gave while screaming no inside wasn't kindness, it was cowardice. When you see that your niceness isn't love, it's fear dressed up as virtue. Carl Jung knew this truth would destroy you before it freed you, because once you see how much of yourself you've sacrificed on the altar of approval, there's no going back to sleep. The prison you built with smiles. You think people-pleasing makes you good. Jung would tell you it makes you dead inside. Because every time you swallow your truth to keep someone comfortable, you commit a small act of suicide against your own soul. You've been trained to believe that your worth comes from how useful you are to others. That love is earned through endless giving. That peace comes from never rocking the boat. But Jung discovered something terrifying. The people-pleaser doesn't disappear gradually. They evaporate completely, leaving behind only a hollow shell that says yes automatically. This isn't about being mean or selfish. This is about recognizing that you've been slowly erasing yourself, one accommodation at a time. The shadow you've been hiding. Jung called it the shadow. All the parts of yourself you've deemed unacceptable. Your anger, your selfishness, your desire to be left alone, your need to say no. You buried these aspects so deep that you forgot they existed. But here's what Jung knew. What you don't own, owns you. Your repressed anger doesn't disappear, it becomes passive aggression. Your unspoken needs don't vanish, they become resentment. Your silenced voice doesn't go quiet, it becomes self-hatred. The people-pleaser lives in constant internal war, fighting against their own nature while pretending everything is fine. And eventually, your body keeps the score. Exhaustion, anxiety, the feeling that something is fundamentally wrong even when everything looks perfect on the surface. The persona trap. Jung identified the persona, the mask you wear to navigate social situations. It's necessary, even useful. But when you mistake the mask for your identity, you lose your soul. Your persona learned early that disagreement meant danger, that having needs meant being selfish, that expressing frustration meant being bad. So it developed an intricate system of people-pleasing to keep you safe. But safety built on self-betrayal isn't safety. It's a slow-motion catastrophe. Because the more you please, the more you teach people that your boundaries are negotiable, your time is unlimited, and your needs are irrelevant. The hidden cost of being nice. Here's what no one tells you about chronic people-pleasing. It's not generous. It's manipulative. You give to control how people see you. You say yes to avoid conflict. You smile to prevent rejection. Jung understood that this isn't love. It's transaction. You're trading pieces of your authentic self for temporary approval. And the price keeps going up while the satisfaction keeps going down. The cruelest irony? The people you're desperately trying to please often respect you less, not more. Because deep down, everyone can sense when someone has no backbone. They might appreciate your compliance, but they don't truly respect it. The awakening process. Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming who you actually are instead of who you think you should be. It's not comfortable, it's not pretty, and it definitely doesn't make everyone happy. Individuation means integrating your shadow. It means owning your anger, your boundaries, your selfishness, your right to disagree. It means becoming whole instead of just palatable. When you start this process, people will say you've changed. They're right. You've stopped being their convenient doormat and started being a human being with needs, limits, and opinions. The guilt phoenix. The first thing you'll feel when you stop people-pleasing is crushing guilt. This isn't proof you're doing something wrong. It's proof you're doing something right. Jung would tell you this guilt is your psyche detoxing from years of self-abandonment. Your nervous system was programmed to believe that other people's comfort is more important than your authenticity. Breaking that programming feels like rebellion because it is. But here's the secret. Guilt is just an emotion, not a moral compass. You can feel guilty and still do what's right for you. You can disappoint people and still be a good person. You can say no and still be kind. Practical shadow integration. Start small, but start somewhere. Notice when you're about to say yes while feeling no. Pause. Breathe. Choose differently. Stop over-explaining your boundaries. No is a complete sentence. Your reasons belong to you, not to the people demanding your compliance. Let people be disappointed. Their disappointment is not your emergency. Their inability to handle your boundaries is not your problem to solve. Practice saying these phrases. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. I need to think about it. Notice how your nervous system reacts. Stay present with the discomfort. The relationship filter. When you stop people-pleasing, you lose relationships. Jung would say, good. You're not losing authentic connections. You're revealing which relationships were built on your self-betrayal. The people who only valued you when you were convenient will disappear. The ones who loved your compliance more than your character will protest loudly. Let them go. They were never really yours anyway. What remains are relationships based on mutual respect, not your endless giving. People who see you as a whole person, not just a resource to be depleted. The new you. The person you become after integrating your shadow isn't cruel or selfish. They're integrated. They can be kind without being a doormat. They can be generous without being depleted. They can love without losing themselves. This version of you doesn't need to be liked by everyone because they like themselves. They don't need constant approval because they approve of their own choices. They don't need to please people because they've learned to honor their own soul. Jung believed this integration is the most important work a human can do. Not because it makes life easier. It often makes it more complicated. But because it makes life real. Your choice. You have a choice right now. Continue the performance. Keep wearing the mask. Maintain the illusion that your worth comes from how much you give and how little you ask for. Or choose the harder path. Choose to disappoint people in service of your truth. Choose to be misunderstood rather than be fake. Choose to be whole rather than just liked. Jung knew this choice would define your entire existence, because you can spend your life being everyone's favorite person while being nobody to yourself. Or you can risk being disliked by some to finally, truly be yourself. You'll stop pleasing people after this, not because you've become heartless, but because you've become conscious. Carl Jung didn't want to make you cold. He wanted to make you real. The people worth keeping will respect your boundaries. The ones worth losing will reveal themselves through their reactions to your authenticity. And you'll finally understand that being whole is more valuable than being liked. The old. You died the moment you realized people-pleasing was self-betrayal. What's being born now is someone who can love without losing themselves, give without depleting themselves, and be kind without betraying themselves. If you're ready to stop living for everyone else's approval and start living for your own integrity, subscribe for more uncomfortable truths that will set you free. The journey to wholeness begins with the courage to disappoint others in service of your authentic self.